in the actual race. But that said, try spending less money on helicopters and jacuzzis and more on your car, Spacefish. Come on, mate. I'm in the top 10. That's a huge step from the last time. I feel a bit hurt now. Alright everybody, hello and welcome back to another episode of Motorsport Manager with me, Spacefish. Now first things first, if I still sound a bit tired, please excuse me, it's just been the holidays. I've been chilling for a few days and I'm just getting back into the flow. But with that said, I hope you all had a very, very Merry Christmas and a good holiday time together with your friends and family and loved ones, as much as that was possible these days, and that you got some awesome gifts as well. But getting right back into Motorsport Manager now, if you remember in the last episode we actually did a ton of advancements on the car. We actually, if we have a quick look into our fit parts overview here, you got the engine to 75% reliability, so should hopefully be a bit better even. We maxed out the performance of the engine itself. We also got the brakes to a very nice state. Of course, only of our primary car, because if you see, our secondary car is not quite there at the moment, but we are just focusing on hopefully getting one car into a nice space for ourselves. But with that said, all the development is now over and we are going to head into the Munich Grand Prix. I'm not sure about sponsorship objectives, not gonna lie. I think we're gonna choose the easiest one because that's something I'm starting to become confident we can do in a good race rather consistently. The 9th spot, I don't know. I feel like if we get lucky, that's a possibility. I mean, we had a race just now that we nearly won until the engine started exploding on us. So, there's certainly potential in all this stuff, but I don't think that we can consistently hit that just yet, and I would just rather try and have a consistent bit of money instead of like 450k every 4 races, so that's probably not going to be all too great for us in the end after all. So with that said, let's go and get ourselves into the race at the Munich Grand Prix. You saw down there, brakes are essential, so good thing that we do have those developed. Gearbox, I'm not sure, do we actually get the gearbox in? I didn't actually just look just now, because we did already have gearboxes developed. I'm not sure if we had already brought them up to the reliability standards that we needed, so I will have to have a look into that. I'm actually kind of getting worried that maybe we did and I just didn't fit them right now. That would be pretty annoying. I will have to see. So, drivers are obvious, right? We're going to choose these two as always. Now for setup, I'm really getting kind of worried right now that I may have missed this stuff. Let me actually place a quick count. I'll just confirm real quick that we haven't missed any gearbox stuff. Alright, back I am, and I am indeed happy to confirm that I did not miss the gearbox. Well, we did actually have gearbox items and even a suspension improvement, as I recalled. We did not have them up to the reliability standards yet that we needed. I mean, putting in a 20% reliability gearbox, frankly, doesn't really make much of any sense, so that's why we ended up not using that. This is, by the way, the first time ever that I'm noticing that there's an actual public street below the racetrack. That's kind of cool. That's kind of interesting. I really think that's kind of interesting. I do like that. But let's select our drivers again. Let's go to the car setup. I'm just going to try and adjust this again to what about this seems to suggest. So we're going to slightly raise the downforce here by 0.5, maybe by a full degree for a start, just to, get like, oh, hello. Thank you. Just to get like a bit of a change in right there. For handling, it seems oversteer is sort of preferred, but also, acceleration top speed, we're going to make it a bit longer for the gear ratios, but I don't really want to overdo it just yet. And then we're going to make the suspension a slight bit softer just to make the car a bit more oversteery. And we'll just try it like that for a start, I think. So tire choice, I think we'll go with softs, to be honest. Now, I'm not quite sure. I feel like the other car is still probably going to be worse for tyre wear than this one for whatever reason. I mean, this is the better car, right? So I guess it makes some sense, but the chassis itself should be the same. And usually, as far as I know it, right, if we just have a look here, yeah, 8 to 10 laps, so 2 laps less. So I'm not quite sure why this car chews up tyres so much more. Because, like, the thing is, at the start of the season, you usually develop a chassis, and the chassis has some tyre wear stats, basically. Now, why this one suddenly chews up that much more tyre than the other car, I'm really not quite sure. Like, we haven't made any suspension improvements, the aero should be the same, we really only have a better motor, which should only really mean that the other car should chew more tyres due to the increased power. What else do we have? I mean, brakes. You know, brakes. Maybe the better brakes mean there's less lockups and thus the tyres aren't being used as badly. I'm really not sure. It doesn't make too much sense to me at the moment, but, well, you know, if any of you know, please let me know down below. Would be appreciated. I'm going to make the gear ratios longer, again, of course, like 63% again, and we're going to make the suspension stiffness a bit softer again. Just going to kind of get that in as a starting point for Anthony. We're going to use soft tyres yet again. Gonna hit confirm, and, well, then we can go and take the practice session, because we always do. You guys know, at this point probably we always do. You can go and grab some nice knowledge from that in terms of like the actual soft tyres and race trim knowledge, and also in terms of actual setup knowledge. So let's send Gomez out. Let's go and send Anthony out too, and let's get time playing. Let's get them on their most aggressive strategy right away, just so they finish their practice laps ASAP, basically. And then I'm going to be really interested in the pace of theirs. Like, Gomez, you can already see he's a lot faster with that better engine, I think, with the brakes and everything. Like, I should have really tried to send them out the other way around, shouldn't I? I feel Anthony is going to be holding up Gomez a bit. But then again, the difference doesn't even feel that great. Now there we go. Gomez is actually taking over. Handling feels awesome right now. That's a good start. I'm going to actually let them do a full lap, especially Gomez. I'm very interested to see how he is going to be doing for lap times in comparison to the other team. So we're definitely going to do a full lap right here. I mean, everything purple. He's the first guy setting a time. You can already see now here. Just changed to green time, so that's not actually as good as we thought it was. But for the time being, first and second spot, that's of course not going to stay that way. Now I'm going to bring the two in, and we're going to tinker with the setup again, try and make it a bit better. And you can see Beauchamp and Arbiola and John Sauter and Jar, like everybody's qualifying better than us, basically. We're about the second 0.3 behind the pack. I mean, you can see here the time difference between my better and the worst car. It's 0.4 seconds. So that's, I mean, in the world of motorsport, that's honestly quite significant. That is quite the change for us. But let's get them in for the time being, and let's get them up to snuff. I mean, there's also a lot of people actually that are a lot slower than us. So I mean, that's a good start. Then again, I mean, who knows how like representative the practice times are actually going to be of the actual pace in the race. Usually in this game, I feel it's not all that representative. And this is honestly not too great. I don't know. Good is never, like, giving it away too much for me. I'm gonna up the angle by another 0.5 degrees. I mean, I feel for, like, the fast curves and stuff, more downforce might be useful. Let's see how he feels about it. We're gonna oversteer it a bit more, because I feel like it's the more desirable thing here. And then for the gear ratios, I'm really not too sure. We're gonna make it longer. We're gonna see if he likes it or dislikes it more. I feel maybe we actually want more acceleration in it, but we'll go with this for the time being. We'll observe the change and then adjust accordingly. Tyre choice, we're gonna use a new set of softs, of course. I mean, we're really not too limited in terms of, like, tyre choice in these Grand Prix at the moment. I feel like we can really use all the tyres we want at the moment. Now Anthony, let's check her out as well. We are okay, so yeah, she wants a lot more downforce, I think. I mean, you can see there's little room for play right there, so we're gonna give her a full degree more. handling actually great, which is good news. I like that. We're gonna slightly tinker with it, I think, just make it a bit more oversteery, see if that's improving it even more. Speed balance, I'm gonna make it a lot longer, I think, and see how that works. Maybe she wants more acceleration. We'll find out. We'll keep it at this for the time being, and we'll, as with the first one, adjust accordingly. But with that said, let's speed up time. Let's have our mechanics do all the adjustments, and Anthony's mechanics actually faster once more. Well, it's very annoying. Now she's ahead of him yet again, even though he is the faster guy. I'm just going to put him on attack, and I'm going to let her be on, like, the lowest mode, so they can kind of overtake each other, hopefully. Come on. Come on. Overtake. Because I really want to see his potential times, right? I really want him to be in front of her, not the other way around. So, that would kind of be the idea. If he could actually overtake her instead of, like, trying to cling onto her gearbox right now, which seems to be his preferred choice for whatever reason. Hello? Okay. That doesn't seem to work, which is great. I really don't know why he is just sticking behind her, like, I don't know. Can you overtake? Thank you. Okay, Gomez is happy with the aero, that's awesome news. Let's go and see, though, what his actual lap time is going to be. I'm not actually sure we can see his lap time, to be honest here. Because the lap takes, like, what, 130, so we would be at 260 to get him back in, which would be quite close to actually get him back out. Oh, I'm not sure. I think we can only really observe the first 2 sectors or something. It seems to be slower, which is never too great news. But I feel we need to bring him back in here, because otherwise I don't have another... You know, I cannot have another go at actually testing setups. He seems to be a lot slower. Okay. I think that's probably... It's probably the gear ratio messing him up, isn't it? Like, handling seems to be fine, aero seems to be fine, or the driver feedback is just absolute trash in this game, which is also quite the option, honestly. I mean, it's what I have suspected quite a few times as of late, so you never quite know. But no, as you can see, speed balance is very poor, so we're going to have to change that gear ratio. Other than that, we seem to have pretty much nailed it here. Let me just see, so I think a tiny bit more oversteering is probably a good thing. So a bit more rearward balance, a bit more downforce. We're going to put the downforce to 27.0. That should make the downforce perfect, I hope. We're going to adjust the tire camber slightly to get it even more oversteery. And we'll definitely shorten the gear ratio by a whole lot here. This was poor, so I think something like 50% should actually be rather decent, to be honest. Okay, let's try that. We're going to do another 2 laps, and we're going to do... Do we need a new set of softs? I mean, we kind of don't need it, but we also kind of don't have anything to lose. I mean, there's no qualifying in this at the moment, which, as far as I know, you can actually get qualifying in there through votes and everything, but I mean, four sets for the race is going to be more than enough, so I'm not really too bothered with it. Let's just give him a new set. We're going to change her stuff as well. Knowledge gained is now at medium for her too. How are we doing, actually, by the way? Level 1. Okay, we should be able to make level 2 before the end, I hope. But downforce and handling are actually excellent, which is great news. Speed balance, as expected, kind of very poor. This was poor, so yeah, we're just going to make it like this. Yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, I think that should be about decent. Gonna adjust the tire camber again to keep the handling at the excellent stats it is at. And yeah, gonna give her some new tires as well. Actually, no, maybe not her, because she chews tires like no tomorrow. I don't really like that too much. And also, you know, not changing tires is probably going to make the thing a bit faster, so that means more training time for us. So we're going to keep that pair of tires on her car. We're maxing out her car then for overtake and attack and push and everything, and his too. And yeah, that should be enough to make another 2 laps. So like out lap and hot lap think that should be about it. Then they're not going to make it across the line for a second lap before the checkered flag drops, but that's about fine, because at least I hopefully get to see his potential pace. Fingers crossed. And hers, you know. Maybe very interesting too, but then again, Amici doesn't really have that fresh, soft tyres, so I'm not quite sure how much we will actually see there. But that said, a level 2 right there, great job with setup, that's good to hear, but level 2 with soft tyres and race trim right here. He did improve in the first sector, he did slow down in the second one though. But that could have been because the car was in his way, and the third was actually faster again. So I think overall, he's probably doing pretty good. Anthony actually in 8th spot in front of him, which is crazy. That's pretty crazy. So, like, that car blocking him, I think his true potential is somewhere up here, like 4th or 5th spot or something. So that's great. I mean, both cars finishing in the top 10, which, as I said, I mean, this is not all too representative. So let's not get all too hyped about it just yet, especially considering that Anthony's car is honestly still pretty darn weak. I don't want to get all too crazy hyped about it, but we will see in the actual race. But that said, try spending less money on helicopters and jacuzzis and more on your car, Spacefish. Come on, mate. I'm in the top 10. That's a huge step from last time. I feel a bit hurt now. Of course I don't, but... Wow. Okay, so that said, I mean, we've got our knowledge. This is quite the obvious choice, right? We don't really have much of any options right there, but we will choose those. Car setup, top speed... Oh. Oh, that's great. Oh. Poor. I don't know, does she want more acceleration now? Does she want more top speed? I can't tell. This is actually kind of bad, honestly. Because the thing is, right, this was a poor. This was a very poor, of course, right? But there's a big distance between that poor and my acceleration now. So I'm kind of wondering, is that distance there? Does that mean that I maybe have kind of already went past the ideal spot? And like you had poor here, you had like maybe okay here, and you had excellent and no, very good and excellent, and then like very good and okay? Or does it mean I've not changed it enough and I need to go further in terms of acceleration? I really don't know. I think given that this thing worked as well for her in practice, we're just going to leave it at okay. Because if I shorten the gear ratios now and it makes it worse, and she can't keep up with race pace, I would be pretty annoyed. If I keep it like super, like a bit longer and that, like, I'm just going to go for the safe choice and I'm going to keep it here. Now this with estimated laps is actually quite the worry, because like, I mean, I want to go with soft tyres only. I think the race is going to be totally dry, as far as I know, the weather forecast. But, I don't know, like, the thing is, with 8 to 10 laps, like, she needs to conserve a lot of tyres to go for a 2-stop. So that's going to probably be rather hard, but let's see. I think that's the way to go, though, so we're going to have her come in and, like, lap number 8, lap number 16, and then go all the way till the end, or lap number 9 and lap number 17 go all the way to the end, something like that. And we're going to fill up the car. Actually, not quite sure if I do want to fill up the car, because the engine's on at 75%. I don't know if we can really push them as much. That's like always my worry, is engine reliability, right? I mean, we could also only go for 9 laps of fuel. I mean, maybe 10 laps for a start, but maybe then 9 laps and only always fill 1 lap, kind of rather save a bit of weight and not push the engines as hard, just to make sure they make it to the end. I mean, we've got 75% now instead of 70, but there's still 25% to go to full reliability, where you can kind of push the engines as much as you want, pretty much. So, I don't know. I don't want to overdo it in that regard. But okay, so that's Anthony now. For him, I'm also unsure about the speed balance, to be honest. Like, could be that we went past. Could be that we still need to go a bit. So I'm going to keep it there too for him. Gonna go for a new set of softs, of course. Him being a bit easier, I think, in terms of when we want to come in. Like, we can easily carry the first one through till the 10th lap if we wanted to, and then push super hard after. We could also have him go in the 9th lap. We just need to kind of try and offset the two. Maybe I'll take her in the 8th lap, him in the 9th. And then we will kind of go from there, pretty much. Like, he'll just go... I don't know. He doesn't even need to go as many laps as these tyres last for him, apparently. So, let's see. We'll do it like this. We'll stay at that. Driver strategy, I mean, for a start, we're going to attack, overtake, of course. And then we're just going to kind of see as we go through the race how things develop. I think with her, I need to very quickly actually go to conservative tyre wear strategy. And for him, I probably rather quickly need to start saving fuel, because I'm probably going to get him in the 9th lap and her in the 8th. So that being the idea right there. But as you can see, 1st and 3rd spot for us, because our drivers really don't have much of any points still. So let's see how this is going to go. With lights off at the Munich Grand Prix, Gomez having a great start right here, overtaking absolutely everybody, including his teammate there in that final corner. Very nice. Anthony on the other hand side, not really doing all too well, with Gomez now being overtaken twice. Oh my god, did you see that? Who just gunned it there? That was absolute madness. That was insane. But yeah, okay, so we're going to kind of fast forward things to 2 times speed a bit here. Just going to keep carrying things through. Gomez being in 3rd spot. Not looking that great at the moment. I think for that in front of him not being really necessarily the most strongest opponents of his, that is probably not too great. But with that said, let's pause it here on the actual start and finish line. We are going to lower their strategies a bit. I am going to lower her tyre strategy as well. I think we're just going to do orange all across the board, given that I'm trying to take her in the 8th lap and him in the 9th. I think that should be fine for the time being, but we're going to monitor the percents a bit more accurately, I think, as we keep going across the start and finish lines. But you can see Gomez pulling away from Anthony like mad here. That's just a difference in performance between our 2 cars, and we don't even really have our most important stats all that upgraded for this race. So that just kind of goes to show you that still that does a lot. So here we go then. We have got 20% in the first 2 laps of Gomez. I mean, honestly, that is probably a tad bit much. I think we're also nearing the overheating area for the tyres, so we're going to lower that strategy a bit. Other than that, I think Anthony probably has a bit much fuel, so we can get her to overtake. We really want her in the 8th lap, so she does have a lot of leftover fuel. Well, Gomez really doesn't. I think Gomez, if we keep him on high, occasionally swap him down to medium, that's probably the better choice. I mean, engine is doing good for the time being, but we'll see how that develops over time. Now, with that said, I'm going to keep things here on 4 times speed for the moment. Actually, probably on 12 times here for a quick lap. Gomez is going to go down into 5th spot. Anthony already in 12th, which is crazy. But we're going to keep things in 12 times speed, and I'm going to go and get us onto the start-finish line again, just to observe that condition of our tyres right here. So we're at 62% for him, 55% for her. And 5.36 laps to go for him, which should be too much. It's actually too much, but quite the margin, isn't it? She's got 4.91 as well, which she needs 4. So I think her strategy is pretty fine. He actually... Wait, does she need 4? I wanted to get her in the 8th lap, right? So she actually only needs 3. Does she? Wait a second, I'm confused. I'm really confused. No, like 5th lap needs to be driven as well, right? So she does need 4, as I thought. Yeah, and he does need 5. So, actually kind of probably want to go to medium on him. We're going to do that now. And we're going to go and take her to high to actually, like, get the engine to chill a bit, you know, and, well, I mean, she's got a few laps to go, so I think that should be overall pretty fine. Now, tyres, I mean, 50% is pretty alright, I feel. Maybe actually not. Maybe actually not, to be honest. I think she needs to conserve tyres a bit, and he probably does need to conserve tyres a bit as well. Because she needs to go another 4 laps with these, and she already only went 4 with these. Then again, wait, we're at the end of the lap already, though. I'm not too sure. I think conserve is probably not the worst move in the world. Because if we now go and get them down to like 5% is something that's going to slow the cars down incredibly. Then again, I mean, Gomez is starting to build a small train behind him, so that's not too great news right there. Let's hope that is not going to get worse. The other dudes seem to be catching up to him too, so that is really not all too good. So with that said, I would like to turn up the engine a bit more for him again. Anthony, honestly, I mean, she's... Wow, I don't know. Like, for him, I think if we get the engine up to high now, it should be about alright. For her, I'm really honestly considering, like, she is on the finish line about now. She's got, like, another 15% per lap that she can burn. So I think we're going to get her to overtake a bit, to be honest. And keep on going like that. Good thing we actually got her to conserve tyres, because you can see we're at 35% right now. That is really quite tight right there. And Gomez now dropping down to 8th spot. I think this is really not going too great for us. You can really see now that we are lacking the most essential components for this Grand Prix. We are in 11th spot, and if these two overtake and we're just about within the tyre... No, not within the tie, but within the sponsorship objectives. So that's really not too great. Now, Anthony going on her last lap before the pit stop, so we are going to go and push the max out of the car that is left right there. Gomez can actually go back up to neutral too, as he has got a bunch of tyres left. We're going to go and get Anthony in this lap. Going to give her a new soft, of course. I kind of want to fill up the engine, just see how it does. I think we're going to fill it up for 10 laps. We're going to push it hard, and if we see that the engine condition is deteriorating a bit too much, then we're just going to fill it for 9 laps in the next one, alright? So that's the plan right there. I mean, for the time being, it is not looking all too bad. So we're going to keep her unbalanced. She's really not in all the most... yeah, exciting spot, 19th spot right there, so, you know, not really doing too great on her end. Gomez now, oh, there's somebody going in front of him. How far are they apart? 6 seconds. We cannot pit them. Can we pit them? No, they're not. Yeah, no, now that I've gotten Anthony in, and she needs to go in, Gomez will need to stay out for another lap, while everybody else around him actually goes for the pit stop. So that's not the greatest news in the world right there. Let's hope that's going to be going about fine for us. I am, of course, going to go and push everything out of his car now that he has. But this could very well be a bit of an issue. So we're going to speed up time. She is going to be in. She's going to get tyres changed, refueled, all fine. And she goes out on soft tyres. We're going to have her... Whoa! That was a mistake right there, even though it was the balanced strategy, which is crazy. Gomez now, of course, going in for the pit stop. We are going to fill him up to the max. We are not going to have to repair anything. We're going to keep him... No, we're actually going to go fast, I think, because we really... need to speed things up here a bit, and then let's see how this one's going to go. Fingers crossed it's not going to go all too bad. He's actually going to run out of fuel here just before the... No, that was close. He nearly ran out of fuel just before the finish line, or the pit stop, but he did not end up doing so. Now we are... where are we coming out? 13th spot again. Okay, we didn't lose any, so that's a good start right there. Faith, we are going to get to neutral and high for the time being. Him, we are going to keep pushing. But as I say that, looking down at the clock, we are already recording this episode for 29 minutes. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to end it off here because there's like another 15 laps still to go in this Grand Prix. Hopefully, we are not going to be doing all too bad, and we can at least hopefully hit the sponsor objective, please. And, well, then kind of head on from there and hopefully have a bit more optimized parts for the next one. But that's something that we're going to have to find out in the next episode, unfortunately, as I'll end this one off right here. So I hope you all very much enjoyed it. As always, if you did, please make sure to hit that like button right down below. That does always help out the channel a ton. And if you're new around here and haven't done so just yet, also please consider hitting that subscribe button right down below, as well as that bell icon right next to it, to stay up to date on any future upcoming episodes. And with all that said, as always, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching, and I hope I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.